Well, good morning, everybody. And before we get started today, just a quick apology. I'm in the Pacific Northwest all week this week, getting a chance to talk to several different groups, and I left my professional mic at home, so I apologize if I sound a little bit different, but let's get into this. I want to show you a satellite animation from yesterday, and this is the sun setting last night. And what I was looking for here was how much snow I could see kind of packed up in the Pacific Northwest and throughout the Rockies and into the Sierra Nevada. And there's some pretty good snow that's fallen there in this last week. Now we're going over to a drier pattern. We've been in it starting at the end of last week, and it's going to continue in this region for a while. Now in the overnight hours, okay, there's infrared satellite imagery. Let's get right to where the sunrise is this morning. There it goes. Now we know that the cold air has advanced very far to the east, and you can see the effect of that. Look at these these cloud streets, which are a result of cold air coming off of land. Get this nice clearing here, and then they start to bubble up over the warmer water. So that's a good indication of really cold air. You can also see the very low cloud cover that's over the eastern Great Lakes and over this next system we're watching coming out of the panhandles today. And that's where our focus is going to start this morning. Our all hazards weather map this morning shows we have winter weather advisory stretching from New Mexico clear to western Illinois with a winter storm warning tucked into parts of Oklahoma. We have freeze warnings that kind of run up here, parts of the mid-Atlantic, but back down here into Georgia and Alabama. But what we're going to see in this pattern is this is going to be our main low pressure center we're going to see for the next 7 days, just one. And behind that, we're going to see just a flow that races up to Alaska, dips down into a Great Lakes trough, and we're cold, mostly drier throughout much of the continent, and waiting on a pattern change to take place. So let's go have a look at it here. This is the high-res NAM from this morning, and I just want to show you this low. So today we're expecting some heavy snow in parts of the panhandles into southern Kansas, and that snow moves through central Oklahoma by this evening. We will be watching for some stronger storms in eastern Texas and Louisiana down here toward the Gulf Coast. Light snow to the north of it, across a broad section here of the north into the United States. And that low starts to spread its snow tonight into eastern Kansas and Missouri, parts of northern Arkansas, and then by tomorrow morning, we're going to be seeing some of that snow spreading into southern Iowa and into Illinois. Now, as this low kind of pulls farther into the eastern Corn Belt here, really right along the Ohio River Valley, there will be snow across parts of Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Wisconsin, and southern Michigan. You're going to see that spread into Indiana and Ohio as we go through the day tomorrow. And then this low pretty quickly gets into New England. Now, I'm going to be watching for the potential for some ice accumulation right in through here on Tuesday afternoon and evening, and again, some heavier rain to the east. But a broad area of light snow on the backside of this. So this is really just trapped into the deeper trough that's setting up over the Hudson Bay. So that system moves out, and behind it, a lot of lake effect snow is going to be on tap for much of the next 7 to 10 days. So let's get a look at some of these snowfall totals. First map I want to show you is the probability of getting at least 2 inches of snow from now through the 17th. And so you can kind of see your location and pick up how much snow we're talking about here. If we step this up to 4 inches, there we go. Some of the heavier snows will be in parts of New England from upstate New York to Maine, and also here in parts of Minnesota on the backside of this low and right across the Great Lakes. Now, from there, I just want to show you, this is the latest data from the high-res NAM, just looking at total snowfall amounts, and it kind of, I think, does a pretty decent job at picking up on where some of those heavier snows are going to be out of this next system, but we'll have to watch it carefully to see how these snowfall totals really amount up with this system. Okay, from there, you're going to notice we just have the one main system, ready? And it pulls through, and there we've seen it out that far, so heavy snows into Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. And then behind it, just repeated rounds of cold air and lake effect snow. And this big high pressure cell that's pushing here late this week, watch it come down out of Canada right there. It's a 1052 high, pushes some snow, upslope snow against the Rockies here in Montana, and that delivers a brutally cold shot of air that's going to come in the midsection of the country. But what you see in this pattern is no new big low pressure systems are coming across, this part of North America. Nothing's entering the West Coast. We have a system that's going to try to move across parts of Florida, delivering some rain, but that's at the base of this really deep trough. The main action is just in the cold and in the lake effect snow here for the next 7+ days. Now, when we take a look at the snow in one other way here, this is the chance over the next 10 days of picking up an inch of snow. But let's step this up a couple times. This is the chance of getting 3 inches of snow. Here's the chances of 6 inches. And you'll notice that above 6 inches, we're really primarily going to be seeing what's going on here in New England. We've got 2 chances for snow there, and then what's coming off of the of the Great Lakes, multiple chances in that area. So we could be picking up over a foot of snow on the downwind side of the Great Lakes. Now, here's the thing we need to be discussing, though. We talked all last week and even a little bit the week before about this pattern adjusting itself from now through Thanksgiving to build these two huge ridges, one over Alaska and one over Scandinavia. And that's going to help push a trough, going to squeeze this air out into this area, some Arctic air, to settle around here between the Hudson Bay and Great Lakes for several days. What I am most concerned about is this, the resurgence here of strong westerly winds, more zonal winds coming off of Japan. And that's going to have to push through this trough to change our whole pattern. I think it might happen around or after Thanksgiving. But until then, take a look at these high temperatures compared to normal. So we're very cold Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Now watch what happens on Thursday when that high pressure cell slides out of the Canadian Prairie into the northern plains. We'll have overnight lows in this whole area at or below 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Highs trying to get out of the teens. And that spreads east on Friday into Saturday and Sunday. So very little, of these colors for the next 7+ days. Now, what's causing that pattern change after we get around Thanksgiving is that right now the La Nina is making another big surge right in through here. The trade winds are picking up in a big way, and it takes about a week to 10 days for this shift, these strong trade winds, which are seen at the blue-green colors here, to start to affect the jet stream level pattern. But we're seeing it. Notice the week 1 precipitation anomalies dry along the west coast. Week 2, see the moisture starting to pick back up again. That's indicative of better west to east flow, picking up momentum across the Pacific and targeting the west coast. And to kind of finish this up, we see that same thing showing up here in the precipitation pattern in the week 3, week 4 time frame from the CPC. See how they're starting to increase this activity again. And we start to see the chances for warmer conditions. Well, when does this actually get here? Because this is the very end of November into the beginning of December. Well, we're going to be locked into cold November 19th through the 23rd, and at the beginning here the end of the week of Thanksgiving. But that's when things start to shift, and notice there's moderation in the pattern. So we could see a different last week of the month of November, but until then, we're locked into what we've got right now. Last thing I want to bring up for you here is I just want to show you this weekend's rainfall totals in Argentina. There was better rains south and west of Cordoba. A lot of it missed much of Buenos Aires, but heavier rains north. Now, right here along the Paraná River, very limited moisture return to this area, which means the patchwork of drought, I should say, across South America is still very much a major issue. And over the next week, we see drier conditions, I should say, from Mato Grosso do Sul through southern Brazil. We can also see here that much of Argentina stays drier this next week, with some rain trying to make it into Buenos Aires, but that's going to be about 7 or 8 days from now, so we'll have to watch that carefully, which means our drought issues in Argentina just continue to be a problem here as we go into the end of November and start December. So we'll keep an eye on all of this. I'll report back to you again soon. Thanks.